Good morning, boys and girls. So we have been talking for the past couple days about main idea and supporting details. So today we are going to continue talking about that, but we are going to read a story with it today. So remember that main idea is what the story is mostly about, and the supporting details are the little pieces through our story that we use to help us understand what the main idea of the story is. So one good way that you can figure out what the main idea is just by reading the title of the story. And the title gives away a lot about what the story is going to be about and what we're going to learn about in the story. So always make sure you read the title of the story. So I want you to go ahead and take out a piece of paper, and I want you, while I am reading this story, I want you to write down what you think the most important supporting details are. Okay? Remember, some of supporting details are really important, and we want to pick out the ones that are the most important, the ones that we think are going to have the most impact on our story. So as I'm reading, I want you to make sure that you are writing down those supporting details. And then as you are writing down those supporting details, I want you to make sure that you are thinking about the main idea. Okay, so we're going to be reading When the Beat Was Born, DJ Kool Herc and the Creation of Hip Hop. Clive loved music. It didn't matter what kind, whether it was a wah-wah scat of a jiving trumpet, a sorrowful twang of sad voice, or the belting boom of a gospel singer. Little Clive loved the way sound thumped and bumped all the way down in his stomach. He loved the way the music made his feet go hip, hip, hop, hippity hop. Little Clive lived in Kingston, Jamaica. His hero was a DJ named King George who threw the biggest and baddest house parties in the neighborhood of Somerset Lane. On Saturday nights, everybody who was anybody made their way to Somerset Lane for King George's hot dance parties. Little Clive was too young to go to the parties, so he went to the house when King George and his friends were setting up during the day. They'd arrived pushing a big handcart stacked with crates of records. Clive had never seen so many records. He imagined himself as a DJ, surrounded by all those records, choosing just the right song to get the party jamming. He saw himself toasting like a DJ, talking and singing over the instrumental B-sides of records. Clive dreamed of everyone's feet going hip, hip, hop, hippity hop. Little Clive really wanted to be a DJ. Okay, so that could be a really important supporting detail, that as a little boy, he used to watch a DJ and go there and watch him set up, and he really wanted to be one when he grew up. When little Clive was 13, he joined his mama in New York City. Clive wasn't sure he liked his new neighborhood in the Bronx. It was cold. He had to wear a silly winter hat with ear flaps, and everybody made fun of him. But Clive didn't find one thing besides music that made him feel like he belonged. Sports. He ran track and lifted weights. He played basketball at the neighborhood playground. Soon little Clive was no longer little. He had grown to 6 foot 5 inches tall. He called himself Coolest Clyde, after his favorite basketball player, Walt Clyde Frazier. But the kids on the basketball court took one look at his size and called him Hercules. Clive cut the name short to Herc and then added cool to make it just right. Kool Herc. The best part of being big was that he could go with his mama to neighborhood house parties where he listened to the hottest tunes and danced like crazy. Clive loved these parties. They were just like the ones he stood outside of in Somerset Lane. One day, Kool Herc's father bought a monster sound system with giant 6-foot speakers. But when he hooked up the system, instead of a really big sound coming from the speakers, a little mumbling sound trickled out. Cool Herc spent days switching wires and plugging things into other things until one day the sound was big. Not just like Cool Herc, but big, like an entire block in the Bronx. Cool Herc and his little sister Cindy rented the rec room in their housing project on Sedgwick Avenue. They handwrote invitations telling everybody when and where to get their groove on. They posted cards around the neighborhood. They set up their father's sound system on the night of the party. Everybody who was anybody made their way to Sedgwick Avenue for Cool Herc's hot dance party. That's when Cool Herc became DJ Cool Herc. DJ Cool Herc noticed that dancers danced crazy hard during the breaks in the song when the lyrics ended and the music bumped and thumped. Herc knew that's what dancers wanted, so he plugged in 2 turntables instead of 1. He put the same record on both turntables. He set it up so that when one record ended its break, he could flip over to the other turntable and play it again, doing this over and over. He made a 10-second break last for 10, 15, and even 20 minutes or more. Herc remembered the way DJs in Jamaica would chant and toast over the music. He started calling out the names of his friends during the breaks. There goes my mellow Coke Rock in the house. There goes my mellow Clark Kent in the house. There goes my mellow Timmy Tim in the house. There goes my mellow Bombada. Everybody loved hearing his or her name called out over the music. He'd compliment people on their dance moves. He'd talk about the music and send shout-outs. He'd make up little raps like the jump rope rhymes he heard on the playground, or he would call, "Hey Mike on the lights, make like a strobe." And Mike would flip the switch on and off. Over the next year, Herc took his parties to the streets and parks of the Bronx. He plugged his sound system into the lampposts. They pulled so much power that the streetlights dimmed the perfect lighting for a street party. Cool Herc's music made everybody happy. Even street gangs wanted to dance, not fight. Gangs like the Savage Skulls and the Glory Stompers, the Blue Diamonds, the Black Cats, and the Black Spades turned into breakdancing crews who performed some of the slickest moves. Herc called the coolest dancers break dancers or b-boys because they loved to dance the breaks. When Herc would find a finally good break, he'd shout, "B-boys go down." Then the break dancers would cut and jump their gymnastics. Hey, check this out. The top rock, the down rock, the windmill, the turtle, one-handed handstand freeze. Herc gathered a crew of friends to rap behind his DJing. He invited Coke Rock, a Jamaican friend, to rap. He called him his Master of Ceremonies, or MC Coke, knew all about toasting like Jamaican DJs. He was the first of Herc's crew of MCs, called the Herculoids. Herc would introduce them with a rap. You rock and you don't stop, and this is the sounds of DJ Cool Herc, and the sound system you're listening to is what we call the Herculoids. Soon, kids from all over New York City came to see DJ Cool Herc, who threw the biggest and baddest parties on Sedgwick Avenue. Africa Bambaataa, Grandmaster Flash, Jazzy Jeff, and dozens of others all wanted to be DJs just like Cool Herc. There's no story can't be told, there's no horse that can't be rode, and no bull can't be stopped, and ain't a disco we can't rock. Herc, Herc, who's the man with a master plan from the land of Gracie Grace? Herc, Herc. Herc didn't just rock the block. He put the hip, hip, hop, hippity hop into the world's heartbeat. Okay, and at the end we have a timeline of everything that happened. If you can see, kind of gives you a little timeline of everything that happened. And you can pause the video and read these for yourself if you would like. Okay, so that was a story about how DJ Kool Herc started hip hop music and started all of these awesome block parties and used the turntables like you see in videos to make those cool noises and sounds with the music. So I hope you had a chance to write down some of the most important supporting details through the video. If you didn't, I want you to rewatch the video and make sure you write some of those down. And on your piece of paper, I want you to use all of those supporting details and what you know about this story, and I want you to write the main idea. Okay? Remember that main idea is not the same as central message. Okay? I don't want you to write the lesson that he learned through this story, because that would be central message. I want you to write the main idea. So what the story was mostly about, what the author was trying to tell us through the story. Okay, what was this story mostly about? Okay, so I want you to write the supporting details and the main idea on your story. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments. And then tomorrow we are going to go over it together, and we're going to talk about the supporting details and the main idea of this story together in my video tomorrow. Okay, so make sure you have your own main idea written down and put it in the comments, and then tomorrow you can see if you got it correctly, if you wrote the main idea the same as what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Okay? I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow.